Hello guys, so welcome back to the crew calling all units. A quick comparison test, well it's not so quick, but a comparison test between the four racer bikes. As well in performance as in circuit spec. That's what we are going to do. First contender is the Bmw S1000RR. In performance specs, over a free drive challenge that I created here, it is a bit dependent on traffic and it's a bit of a bumpy and twisty roads. That's the kind of roads that you are driving with a performance spec. Hitting the nitro at around 8000 RPM at the start, and I will hit the nitro also at two other points on the track. A full nitro bar, so that it's sort of comparable. But I will tell you right now, and already in the beginning of this video, the bikes are all pretty close. They it seems that they have patched them in such a way that they are a bit closer to each other. One has a bit better handling, the other has a bit higher top speed and such, so this BMW, as always known sort of by long-term players, still has a very good handling. It was always the one with the best handling. But we have a few new contenders now. That's why I'm sort of doing this test with the four racing bikes now. See, we have them. Four brands have the racing bike now, a real racing bike, not like the Diavel and the Monster and the KTM 1290. Those are more, yeah, cruising bikes, sort of. It's not real racetrack material. I'm not sure if I mentioned it already. In case I haven't, I will say it now. In case I already have, I will repeat it, but all the bikes tested in this video are at 1497. See, now I have all the bikes, and I have all of them at 1497. Only testing 4 this time. Might do another one with the rate on dirt bikes or something, and with the cruiser bikes, we will see. The racer bike for now, a 221.3 on our track. Contender number 2, the latest Summit reward, the Ducati Panigale R in performance spec, going over the same track. I believe I have a bit more issues with traffic where I missed a few braking points, so it might depend a bit on the time. But the thing is, that's why I also mentioned it in the beginning of the video, that the bike seemed to become closer to each other. The thing is, I have done many runs here with all the bikes, and yeah, I couldn't came to a solid conclusion for the simple reason that one part of 4 runs the BMW won, one part of 4 runs the Ducati won, and so also the two other contenders have won some of the videos that I had. Like here I had to go around that car, which makes me kind of miss that turn a bit. You can take that turn smoother, which I did with the BMW, and although the Panigale has a bit less handling than the BMW, but they are pretty close though. BMW and the Panigale are pretty close. This is the second point where we use the nitro, which I also did with the BMW. I will also do it with the next two bikes. And then at the end, towards the finish, I use the third time nitro. Also here I had to go a bit wide, which made me miss my braking point for this one. So I could have maybe a bit more. It's a pretty clean run, but due to it have to go wide twice, I might lose a second here or there, which will also show in time. It's the BMW had a 221.316, and this one will be a bit slower, but if I could have made those corners a bit smoother, it would have been pretty close to the time of the BMW. .7 with two corners where I had to go wide, so like I said, I have done other runs where the Panigale, for instance, was the winner. I've also done runs where this one was the winner, and more specifically this one. Contender number 3 already, just like the BMW, longer in this game than the two other contenders, but it was always the case that the BMW had the handling, or at least it was better than this Kawasaki Ninja H2. This one has the top speed though. For speed traps we usually use it. If we can use the bikes, we have to go for the Kawasaki because it has the highest top speed, as well in performance as in circuit spec. That all has changed a bit now, with the Hurricane coming into the game. It is faster than this BMW, than this Kawasaki, but if you go with a crew in a speed trap, you can tracks like Chicago or speed trap event in Las Vegas, you can get the top speed of this bike on all of the checkpoints, and I'm not so sure we will be able to do that with the Hurricane. We will have to see once one of those two tracks is available. So the Ninja might still be the best option for some of the speed traps compared to the Hurricane. A smoother corner than with the Ducati, for instance, so all those things that matter. And I have done runs after runs, and the only conclusion I can make is that the four performance bikes are pretty close, for the racing bikes that is. I always switch from bike to bike, testing these things, and yeah. One time BMW won, the other time the Ducati won, then this Kawasaki won, and also the last one, which we will look at in a minute. Also that one has won a few of the runs, so the only conclusion you can make is it depends a bit on the driver, and nevertheless a 221.1, which is the fastest, 2/10 faster than the BMW in this comparison, but like I said, in other runs, the BMW was faster. Which brings us to contender number 4, the KTM 1190 RC8 Racing, which is a calling all unit exclusive bike. Although you paid to drive bikes with the Wild Run, this thing comes with calling all units, and those things are exclusive. You need to have the expansion to be able to drive them. This is a bit of a weird bike. In that case, it has a shorter shifting ratio or gear ratio, and which makes it look not so fast. Also the handling feels like it's not so good at the BMW or even the Panigale, but I don't know. And then in the end you come up with a time which is the fastest of the lot. I had it a couple of times with this bike, but not in this run though. Let's go a bit wide here for the van. Also had to brake here, otherwise we're gonna hit that van. This was sorta... Also there I lose a bit of time. This thing will also do a 221, so and the Ducati wasn't the most perfect run that I did, so probably 04 can do a 220, 221. If you do run after run after run, but I already have been recording for more than 3 hours to get just 4 videos on this track, because often you hit traffic or players are have decided to bother you by ramming you. That's what people do occasionally if they see you on a bike. And it's even worse if you're in a police car now. But yeah. I also could have tested the BMW police car, of course, seeing that it's just like the normal one, a 1497 performance spec. Don't only need to do escape with those things or quit missions. You can use them in summit stuff as well. So if you have calling all units and you buy the police BMW bike, I would save your bucks for the normal BMW performance spec, because it's the same bike with the same performance as well. A few hiccups in this run as well, but eventually came up with a 221.9, which is the third fastest time here. Although it wasn't that clean, the result of the performance spec is 1 Kawasaki, 2 BMW, 3 KTM, 4 Ducati, but like I said, they are closer than those time make suggest. Back to the BMW, this time in circuit spec. What we're going to do is 2 laps on Sebring track. Also here, they are pretty close to each other. BMW is, well, it probably stays the one with the best handling though. Although I don't know, not so sure what I have to think about the KTM. It appears slow, it appears a bit more stiff, but then you look at the times at the end and you think, oh, that's pretty close. But this is a circuit with a longer straights, and so acceleration wise the BMW is pretty good, handling wise it's pretty good, top speed wise, well, it's not the best, let's put it that way. I don't know the speed of the KTM yet in slipstream, but if I'm not mistaken, this one can get 445 kilometers an hour. The Ducati, I have tested that in the previous qualifier speed trap, and that limits at 439. And the Ninja, as we know, can do 460. I do not have a slipstream speed for the KTM yet, because at the time I didn't have the KTM yet, so I couldn't test it with the team. It's a bit of a risk testing cars or bikes on Sebring, because you're in the south and 50% of the time, or maybe even more, it's raining there. I was able to do 4 runs without rain, although it has been raining, as you can see on the water on the track. After the sharp corner I use the nitro. I will also use the nitro before the long straight and also at the start. So I think I'll use it about 5 times. At the start in the first lap, the sharp corner twice, and then also twice coming out of this S corner, and then I use a full nitro bar again. You can do this faster if you use a manual gear, because I was doing a too high gear for that last corner, for instance. But nevertheless, 302.0, and that will turn out to be the slowest of the 4 this time in circuit spec, which is kinda strange, seeing the Panigale has less top speed than the BMW, but it is faster, as you will see. What I think is that BMW and Panigale are that close in that way that BMW probably wins it on brakes there. He has pretty good brakes. If you hit the brakes and tap the throttle at the same time, the bike slows down faster than you just hit the brakes. That's also one of those things. So you sort of braking on the engine in a way, and or motor braking, whatever you want to call that. But this thing has also a pretty good handling though, but the brakes are not that good, I think. 'Well, the brakes are as good as the BMW, it's also a possibility, but then it's a steering issue. But the BMW feels easier to drive, and still they are pretty close handling wise. So it's probably more of a feeling, and that is in the end is going to be the end conclusion as well. I mean, time-wise these bikes are very close to each other. One has a better acceleration, the other one has a better top speed, and one has a better handling, and the other one sort of equals all a bit. So in the end it's going to be about your feeling. How is your feeling on this bike, how is your feeling on the other bikes, and so on. Just for speed I prevent, we will end up with the Kawasaki, because that has the highest top speed. But it has less handling than, for instance, the Panigale and also BMW. KTM, I'm still thinking about how and what and when with that bike, because .0 for the BMW, and here the radar challenge doesn't want to finish till I turn around for some reason. Nevertheless, the time on the finish counts at a 3.00.6. So about 1.4 seconds faster than the BMW. Let's see what the Kawasaki can do. It should be the fastest, although the handling is a bit less, but it has a higher top speed, so in the end this track has pretty decent long straights. Already at the start here is a pretty long straight, and also coming towards this point on the other side of the track it's also a long straight. Although I have a feeling that with calling all units release they patch the bikes a bit here and there, and I have a feeling that they did improve the handling for this bike. Or maybe it has been a while since I've been messing about with bikes, but I couldn't recall the handling for the Ninja like it was now. Pretty decent. Not the best, but pretty decent.
All points, listen up. Your current target is no longer our most wanted. Copy that.
Like you saw there, it's easier to go out of a corner with this bike than with the other three, because it doesn't turn that sharp, but still, it hasn't been improved though. Of course, I haven't mentioned that, but of course I am, especially on the long straights, I am always leaning forward. Towards corners or towards jumps I go off the lean forward key. There are no jumps on this one, but in the performance track there were a few jumps. I also went up deeper. Lean forward key there. Also this time we have to turn around before the system decides to finish us. But you can see the time going 3738. That's not the time we will get the time on the finish, which is a 2:59.7, so seeing this thing has the highest top speed, it's kinda normal that it comes out as the best here. Which brings us to the KTM circuit spec. Already lose some time here because I go a bit wide on that first corner. When you're driving this bike, I still haven't figured it out yet. It's a new one, of course, with calling all units. It's only like 2 weeks in this game, but what I'm trying to figure out is does it have a better handling than the BMW? And then It's a strange feeling, but I think it actually does. Although it doesn't feel like that when you're driving the bike. Maybe a bit better brakes as well. It has to be something like that. Something you're not really feeling when you're driving the bike, but you get it anyway.
All points, listen up. Your current target is no longer our most wanted. Yeah, copy that.
Not as clean run if I look at it like this. Already went a bit wide in the first two corners at the start there. And also that 2 corners ago that was also not the best one. Same here, too early on the power, so you come up on the curbs. But it seems to me that this bike it switches angle quicker than the other, I think. You're steering to the left and then you go to the right, and it doesn't take that long to go from one side hanging to the left going to hanging to the right. It doesn't take that long as with the other bikes, and in the end that makes it a pretty good bike. With a 300.5 it does the second fastest time after the Kawasaki, but seeing I went a bit wide in the first corners, it was gonna be pretty close. So we need to test this in top speed with slipstream. I don't think it will reach the Ninja's top speed, but this KTM is it's a pretty good bike, I must say, in circuit spec, and also in performance it's not that bad. But the end conclusion is, seeing I have done many runs, and not so much on the circuit track, but I did do many runs on the performance track, and I always had different winners, so that can only mean one thing: these bikes are pretty close. 1497 level racing bikes, that's what we have a quick look at here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.